All right, let's jump right in. Behind all those glossy photos and online listings you see, there is a massive transformation happening in the real estate world. And it's all going down inside the industry's hidden engine, a system you've probably used without even knowing it, the MLS. Today, we're going to break down how it's getting a major upgrade. But first, let's start with a really interesting question. When a real estate agent puts together a listing with all the photos, the data, the little details, and that info spreads across the internet, who actually makes money from that data? Well, the answer to that is changing, and it points to the first huge shift that's happening right now. So, to really get what's going on, you gotta understand the system that's at the very center of it all. It's called the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS, and trust me, it's the quiet force that makes the whole market work. The best way to think about the MLS is as the backbone of the entire real estate industry. It's not just one website. It's actually a whole network of local and regional databases where agents and brokers agree to share their listing information with each other. And that cooperation, that's the magic sauce that lets your agent show you any home for sale, not just the ones their own brokerage is listing. Okay, so now that we've got that down, let's look at the first major upgrade. This is a fundamental shift in how the money that's generated from all that valuable listing data, is actually handled. It's really about finally recognizing where the value comes from in the first place. And here is the big news that's kicking this all off. The California Regional MLS, which is one of the largest in the country, just announced that it's going to start sending revenue from listing data right back to the brokerages that supplied it. This really reinforces that original idea of the MLS as a cooperative, right? Not just some data company. And get this, the scale here is what's so amazing. We are not talking about some small little pilot program. Nearly 2,000 brokerages are about to start getting these payments. That is a massive acknowledgement that the data that agents and their firms create has real monetary value. This quote from Art Carter, the CEO of CRMLS, just sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. He calls the brokerage community the true lifeblood of the industry. So you can see this isn't just some business decision, it's a statement. It's about reinvesting in the people who are actually out there doing the work. And this isn't just happening in a vacuum. A similar program was actually launched first by Maris, which is based in St. Louis. It's all part of a bigger trend where data is licensed to big institutional users through ventures like redistribute, and now, finally, that money is flowing back down. The end goal here, it's all about creating a more sustainable and transparent industry for the long run. Okay, so that's the money side. Let's pivot to the second major upgrade, because it's not just about redistributing cash. It's also about supercharging the technology itself, especially with AI, to make the whole process way faster and more efficient for agents. Down in Florida, for instance, BeachesMLS is rolling out this huge tech overhaul for its almost 42,000 members. And this isn't just a new coat of paint on an old website. They're basically swapping out the entire engine that agents rely on every single day. And the difference is, well, it's night and day. Before, agents were wrestling with inconsistent data, manually clicking through every single field. Now, the system is unified, and it's smart enough to show them only the fields they actually need. But the biggest deal is that AI tools are no longer some separate thing you have to go find. They're built right into the workflow. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, it's surprisingly simple, and that's kind of the whole point. An agent just uploads their listing photos, and the built-in AI immediately analyzes them to help fill out the property details. And soon, it's even going to help write those catchy property descriptions. That's going to save agents a ton of time. Like their CEO, Deanna Hall, says, this whole thing is about setting a new standard for what an MLS can be. It's a shift from being just a database to being an intelligent partner that actively helps agents do their job better. But this wave of tech upgrades isn't stopping at just creating the listing. Oh no, it's moving deeper into one of the most critical and, honestly, one of the most stressful parts of any deal, the financial transaction. The goal is to make it smarter and way more secure. Take what's happening in Indiana. Agents there can now manage earnest money payments right inside their MLS. I mean, think about it. This replaces that old clunky process of paper checks and wire transfers with a secure digital system where everybody, the agents, the brokers, the clients, can see exactly what's happening in real time. It's all about reducing risk and just making things smoother. So we've got new money flows, we've got smarter tech. What does all this mean for the future? Well, to figure that out, let's look at an organization that's been a bedrock in its community for decades and is now getting ready for its next big chapter. 30 years. I mean, just think about that for a second.
For 3 decades, IrisMLS has been serving real estate pros in northern Colorado. This isn't some fly-by-night startup. This is a long-standing institution that gets how important stability and trust are.
And to celebrate that big milestone, they unveiled a new look. But this is way more than just a logo change. It's a signal, a way of saying that they're positioning the company for the future, embracing all this new innovation while staying true to their roots. This quote from their CEO, Jeff Bosch, just nails the essence of this whole movement. He says they've paved a solid foundation, and now they get to build on it. It really emphasizes that these exciting upgrades aren't just appearing out of nowhere. They're being built on a foundation of cooperation and service that's been laid down for decades. And that really brings us to the big picture. When you put it all together, the MLS of tomorrow is being defined by these 3 key upgrades we've talked about today. First, sharing revenue from data fairly. Second, integrating AI to make the workflow smarter. And third, embedding secure financial tools to make transactions totally seamless. All of this shows that the very foundation of the real estate industry is getting smarter, it's getting fairer, and it's getting more efficient. Which, of course, leaves us with one final question to chew on. The MLS is upgrading at lightning speed. Is the rest of the industry ready to keep up?